So if you guys are all ready, buckle up and we will move on into saga number 8, the Vengeance Saga. It was so bright. Creo? I hope I pronounced that correctly. But that's a new animator. I think it's interesting how everyone gave Calypso like the dreads. I believe that's what the hairstyle is called. Or at least like really thick curls. That was not a good line to say. Oh. What's that flower supposed to be? My first thought was the molly flower. It looks like some piece of paper they just washed up. Yeah, and we have the non-diegetic choir again, because Calypso is a goddess. Interesting that it's male choir though, because she longs for a romantic relationship, I guess. I am surprised that Odysseus said that. And he made the raft. And whatever that was, tangling. Oh, right. Because she can't leave the island, right? Oh, and the dead flowers. That was kind of a sad song. I won't get into details about it, but I'm not condoning Calypso's actions, but there are emotions that she is portraying that I do understand, sadly. You know, particularly, I guess at least the way that I see it, right? It's this feeling of longing for someone, and you know, despite doing everything that she probably could think of that, you know, maybe Odysseus would like, trying really hard to get him to look her way, and still ending up not being enough. Yeah, I unfortunately understand that part. And again, it's not like I condone her actions, and there are lines she says that I do not agree with, especially the part where she says that, I'm paraphrasing a bit here, but like, I'm sorry if my love was too much for you. That was not a good thing to say. I will openly say that against her, because ultimately the things that she chose to do and the fact that she points her feelings towards Odysseus was her choice, and pushing that blame onto Odysseus is not correct. And yeah, but other than that, I've seen a lot of people saying that Calypso is very narcissistic, which maybe it's just because I don't understand the definition of narcissism, super clearly to debunk or disagree with what they're saying. But even then, I'm not sure I fully agree, because at least as far as I understand it, narcissism is a lot about me, due to the fact that they have this overwhelming necessity for validation, validation and praise, and being put on a pedestal. Like they just feel the need to be the best, essentially. That's probably not the best way to put it, but that's generally how I understand it. And so all of that generally ends up making the narcissistic person put all of the focus on themselves, which I feel like it's not what Calypso does here. Of course, there are parts where she does try to turn the focus on herself, let me speak, I'm sorry if my love was too much for you, why won't you love me too, all that kind of stuff. But then there's also a lot of the song where it's like, well, I guess you could argue and say that a lot of the other lines are what she is doing for Odysseus and why she thinks that, you know what? Yeah, I changed my stance on that. It is pretty narcissistic, the way that she phrases things. You know what? I'm gonna stop rambling for a bit, and we go ahead and talk about the animatics. There were a few things I kinda noticed, although I was focusing more on the song and kind of relating to the emotions. Yeah. Look at how Odysseus' eyes light up here. He looks so dead, so ragged. And the moment he hears that he can get out, his eyes immediately lights up. And he doesn't even look at Calypso, See, he's still not turning back at her. He barely even looks at her. See, brushing her hand off and all that. And the way that Creo brightens up Calypso's eyes to show that she is using her powers, for the flower. I'm still not sure what this flower is. I'm sure there's some kind of symbolism and relevance to Calypso specifically. I do not know about it, so I unfortunately cannot say anything, but I will do research when I am editing this video. Well, I didn't find a flower-like symbol that is specific to Calypso, nor the flower that is shown in the animatic over here, but there are two that I would like to talk about for this part. So to begin with, the island, the island of Ogygia, or in Greek, the island of Ogygia, and by extension Calypso herself, are both generally described as like beautiful, lush, everything that you could ever want, but also at the same time very incredibly remote. hidden and isolated from the rest of the world. And so the first flower that I would like to mention is the Calypso puposa, or maybe more commonly known as the fairy slipper or the Calypso orchid, because it is a type of orchid. These flowers, as you can see in the photo, they are generally like they grow on one singular stem each. Like you can see each individual flower, and they don't grow in like a cluster, or they don't generally grow very closely to each other either. And so that is why the name of this flower got borrowed from Calypso herself, because they are very pretty but very isolated. They are very lonely and stuff like that. And also, in addition to like the implied loneliness, they are also very temperamental and delicate, because they require like more specific conditions to grow in. They generally bloom suddenly and wither out very quickly, and if taken out of those conditions, they also die very quickly. But of course, as you can see in the photo compared to the one from the Animatics, they are not quite the same, and so I had to look around even more. And from there, I found the carnation flower, which, as far as I can tell, is like the closest one to the one that we are seeing in the animatics. And there are a couple of colors for the carnation flower, but since Crayon decided to draw it white, I am going off of the white carnation specifically. And the possible reason why they might have drawn the white carnation, or at least what I think is the white carnation, is because of the flower language. They generally signify innocence, purity, genuineness, and simplicity. Or in the olden times, they also symbolize pure love, and during the ancient Greek ceremonies, they are also used as bridal flowers, which, we can relate it to the story of Calypso in Epic the Musical, because, she's very lonely, and although twisted, I do actually think that her affection and love for Odysseus is very pure and innocent, just shown in a very twisted way because of her emotional immaturity, due to her crippling lack of socialization and stuff like that, being stuck on the island all alone for a whole century. And also the fact that Calypso would like to keep Odysseus around as her romantic partner. And yeah, they're growing all over Odysseus, I guess, to kind of like surround him, trying to get him back in a sense. And yeah, this flashback to younger Calypso. It's interesting that her color also changes. Yeah, all of these flashbacks, Odysseus really isn't looking at Calypso at all, and you can see that she really does try to get him to look her way. And then I guess this is like a farewell basket, which I think is kind of nice. And yeah, I do find it relatable that Odysseus, he clearly feels bad, it's I mean, I guess he doesn't exactly have a reason to feel bad when you think of all of the things that Calypso did to him throughout the 7 years that he's on this island. Number one, she trapped him here effectively, and made a lot of forceful advancements on him and assaults him basically. So he really doesn't have a reason to feel bad. But like if we take all of that out of context, then well, no, maybe that's not. Because I was gonna say that it is understandable to feel bad that you cannot reciprocate feelings, but again, the things that Calypso does is not right, to say the least. Like, to put it very, very mildly, it's not correct. And yet, wait, there was one of the background images that I wanted to point out somewhere when it was focused on there you go. It's a smiley face. I don't know why, I just saw that earlier. And I guess you can effectively say that it's kind of like in the shape of a heart if you trace it out like this, and also the shape of a pair of lips also, if you take this as like the gap between the lips, which again makes sense. Calypso just doesn't know how to love and does it all wrong. So yeah, with that said, I think we can move on to listening to the music once more, trying to figure out the little musical details, and yeah, just talk about the lyrics and the overall story. From the beginning, we already have Calypso's instruments, which is the handpan and the steel drum. I'm not entirely sure about the difference between these two instruments. But yeah, those are her instruments, and we don't hear the wop 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 yet. Anyway, come to think of it, I don't know if it actually appears in this song, because we have established that the wop 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 is only present for the goddesses. Maybe the gods, but I haven't noticed that yet. It's so far specifically for the goddesses. But yeah, we get Calypso's instrument, so we know that this is gonna be another Calypso focused song.
Someone arrived today. They said they're
Taking you away.
that you're not mine to save, and soon I won't get to see your face. So I came by to say you're unlike anyone I have ever known.
You're unlike anyone I've ever known, which is a little bit literal, as far as I can tell. I do not know Calypso's lore. I haven't looked into that, so I don't know like how old necessarily she is. But the fact that she has been trapped here on this island alone for a whole century, it's safe to say that she doesn't really know anyone else. And even if she does, that was a whole 100 years ago before she had any interaction with any living thing effectively. So in a sense, Odysseus is the only person that she knows. And so it's a little bit ironic for her to say that you're unlike anyone I've ever known, because at this point, who does she know,
'Cause you're all I've ever known.
Oh, right, there. she answered it herself. Odysseus is the only person that she has ever known, really.
And if I pushed you, or if I came on too strong, or if I ambushed you, for that I'll say I was wrong.
That is good, no? She does, at the very least, acknowledge that not everything she did was correct, and she does kind of apologize indirectly. She doesn't necessarily say I'm sorry, but she does admit that she was wrong at least. So that's something. It doesn't redeem her, but it's something.
And if you hate me, then I am sorry, my love's too much for you.
And like I said earlier, this line was not good at all. I do not like it. And yeah, I do not condone it. Because this is just Calypso pretty much like trying to push the blame onto Odysseus. I almost wanted to say that she's taking the blame off herself, but I think it's more correct to say that she's redirecting the blame towards someone else, which, again, it is not good, especially because she is in the wrong, you know? Yeah.
But I'm not sorry for loving you. I'm not sorry for loving you. I'm not sorry for loving you. I'm not sorry
For loving you.
let me speak.
And then, yeah, just kind of telling him to shut up and let her go on her monologue, which is, in a way, it's understandable. She is very emotional and just wants to get everything out. But I would say that when you are in an emotional state, even though it is understandable that you just want to get your part out, it will be good to let the other person chime in at least every once in a while, so that, you know, they actually have the chance, both of you have the chance to understand each other better and be more understanding of each other.
I spent my whole life here, was cast away when I was young, alone for 100 years.
And yeah, the whole 100 years thing, I had no friends.
So when you washed ashore, I thought for sure that you were my dream come true. I thought I knew.
And yeah, at this point, again, it was like I said, after we first watched through the whole thing, I will admit and agree that there is narcissism at play here. How do I put this? It's probably gonna be a hot take, and also a potentially cancelable take. But if you were to think from Calypso's perspective, right? She has not had any interaction or contact with any living being for a whole century. At this point, I would not be surprised that she doesn't know how to take someone else's feelings into consideration. She doesn't know how to maintain a healthy relationship. She doesn't know, or at least she would not be really any good at seeing from anybody's perspective but her own, because, you know, for a whole 100 years it has always been about me, because there is nobody else, you know. So again, while her actions and the way that she went about doing things is, again, I will emphasize, not correct and does not make her a good person, I actually like her character and find the overarching emotions very relatable. Again, the whole thing of, you know, maybe not, it is, at least to me, understandable that she wouldn't be good at interpersonal relationships, So at least from her perspective, she is doing her best at trying to keep her relationship alive. Being fully delusional that um, maybe Odysseus would one day see her efforts and try to look her way. Uh, Maybe one day try to reciprocate her feelings and all of that. I do find that understandable, that whole unrequited feelings, and also just this whole thing of trying so hard, trying everything that you can, doing the best that you know how, and even after that tremendous amount of effort, you are still not enough. It is unfortunately relatable. Um, yeah, we'll continue.
So if I pushed you, or if I came on
And
too
yeah, you see the
strong,
lyrics is all if I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this.
was wrong, and if you hate me, then I am sorry.
And
My
then
love's too
again,
much for
the
you.
redirecting of the blame.
But I'm not sorry for loving you. I'm not sorry for loving you.
And this line, I'm not sorry for loving you. This is a bit of a tough song to listen to, especially right now. But I won't go into details. The This line of not being sorry for loving you, I also understand that there's no real reason to blame it on the other person for things not working out, and if they don't feel the same way. I definitely do not regret any of the people that I have looked at, um, and put effort into. I definitely do not regret any of it. I don't regret the time spent. I do not regret the effort and emotions poured into them. But it does still really suck that you can do so much and things still don't work out. It is incredibly painful. It is also the unfortunate reality that can happen.
I'm not sorry for loving you. I'm not sorry for loving you. I'm not sorry. I'm angry and tired and restless and sad.
Yeah, I'm angry, tired, restless, and sad. Again, it is a painful thing and a very emotional experience when you find out that all of your efforts feel like they amounted to nothing. And so, again, I do relate to her emotions, not her actions necessarily. I do not condone, basically kidnapping people and forcing yourself onto them. You can, admire them. You can put your effort towards anybody that you are interested in, but you have to understand that they are not obligated to return any of those feelings, any of that effort. They are not obligated to even be grateful for it. This is a choice that you make. And so, yeah, that is something that you have to keep in mind. It is your choice. You don't get to blame the other person. You can feel whatever emotions you want, really. But yeah, that is your choice. Of course, how the other person responds is up to them. but how you respond to your own actions that don't get reciprocated, that is on you. As tough as that might be to hear. Yeah, which is why I said I don't regret any, even though it is an unfortunately painful kind of thing to experience, I do not regret any of it because I chose to put in all that time and effort onto them. And yeah, they are not obligated to return it. And they are all still lovely people. So the best that I can do when things like this happen is wish them the best and just grieve on my own.
I'm stuck in the moments I swore that we had. I wish you would chase me or try to embrace
I wish you would chase me and embrace me, and I wish that you would lie and tell me what I want to hear. Again, it is all things that I do understand, but like I said earlier, I am very, very surprised that Odysseus says this, that he does kind of tells her what she wants to hear. I'm not sure I understand why he did that. I mean, I guess you can say that he did spend 7 whole years with her, and when you spend, hours and hours, day and night of every single day for multiple years, you are bound to grow some kind of attachment, however weak it is. So maybe that's why, but I'm not sure I can really think of any good reason that Odysseus would ever say this. Because again, we have to take into account what Calypso has done in the last 7 years, keeping him trapped here, making forceful advancements on him. I know it's not the same, but she is making him cheat on Penelope that he's so loyal to, knowing that he is married to Penelope. So, yeah, I don't understand why Odysseus would ever say this.
You do, but not in the way that you want me to. I hate that I fell in love with you. Hate that I fell in love with you. Why did
Oh, and now there are female vocals in the choir.
what do I do with this love for you?
Oh yeah, I didn't mention this when going through the animatics part. This whole thing of her being chained down to this island, I really like that detail. It took me a few seconds to register what's going on, but I like that a lot because she cannot leave the island. What do I do with this love for you? How am I supposed to get over you?
Why in the world won't you love me too?
Why won't you love me too? Yep. Again, that was a bit of a difficult song to listen to, especially right now. I unfortunately understand a lot of her lines in that song. But okay, that was Not Sorry for Loving You. I know I didn't exactly talk about the music itself all that much, but yeah, I just ended up relating to Calypso a lot regarding her emotions. So I hope you guys don't mind that, because I definitely got a little bit emotional there. But I'll keep myself together. We still have 4 more songs to go, and I spent well over half an hour on that.